गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। संकल्प प्रभवान् कामान् त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् अशेषतः मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामं विनियम्य समन्ततः शनैः शनैरुपरमेद् बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्। I hope are we at the right point? 25th shloka we have to discuss. Okay, so Shanai Ruparamed. A person who is doing Nididhyasana, first he should sit in a seat of meditation and then Sankalpa Prabhavan Tyaktva, by forgetting the world. Stop thinking about the world. Thinking about the world means any activity, any goals, plans, all those things. Generally, a person who doesn't have worldly ambitions, worldly goals, himself is unfit for any meditation. But if he may have certain plans and goals, not personally, but for Loka Sangraha, we call them. Loka Sangraha means if Guru has given, or his situation means his ashram or some such thing has a goal, and is only assisting his Guru, serving his Guru, then in that case those goals are not his personal goals. Okay, so sannyasa is required for meditation. Sanyasa means not having any personal goals and personal ambitions. Personal ambitions, personal plans. He doesn't insist on anything, either in achieving or regarding the method about it. What method should be followed? What method to be followed to achieve these goals? Neither he has personal goals, nor he has personal plans to achieve them. He doesn't have any preference about the plans to achieve those goals. They are the worldly goals. Therefore, the world, it is like world needs it. He doesn't need it. See, it's the difference. World needs it. Just like body feels hungry, it needs food. So it is a need of the body, not mine. It is the ambition of the body, not mine. Similarly, if you are living in a society, just a minute, I have not put this. So, I hope you can hear now. Earlier, I don't know whether you could hear or not. The sannyasa is not having any personal goals. You may assist sincerely, wholeheartedly. That means you may offer yourself as a servant, as an instrument to achieve some goal, like Guruji has a goal or a society has a goal. You only assist in their goal. It is not your goal at all. Because why should we not have personal goals and personal ambitions? Because the personal goal retains your individuality. Because the individual goals means you retain an individuality. because the individuality survives by its own personal goals. Not having personal goals means I don't want to remain an individual, because the individuality has a goal, no goal at all. Others' goal, you're only just assisting, helping. That's all. You're only serving. That's why either he personally he gives up, but he may follow. May follow, I say, because it is not a binding on him. That's why Loka Sangrahartham we have discussed before in the chapter 3rd, from 3rd chapter onwards. Loka Sangrahame vapi sampasyan kartumarhasi. So a person who attained sannyasa means who has given up personal goals, personal ambitions, may assist either Guruji or parents. If he is a Gruhastha, he follows his parents. If he is a sannyasi, he follows his Guru's ideas. Or if he is a part of a society, then he follows the social needs. But they are not his personal desires, personal ambitions. It is like body is hungry and it is the need of the body, not of me. Similarly, it is need of a flow of the society. Society is a flowing society. Society needs it. So just we flow with the society, doesn't have any personal thing. Therefore, how do you say it is not a personal goal? When you are working for the society, means it is a social need, it is your Guruji's order, or it is your parental need. I just assist in them. That means I don't feel bound by them. The main thing is the individual ego melts away in this Loka Sangrahartham karma, because I don't take them as my personal ambitions. Therefore, my individuality doesn't feel. Personally, I don't feel bound by achieving those goals, because they are not my personal goals. This is sannyasa. If you happen to be in a situation, the setup, the system in which you are living, in an ashram or Guruji, or if he is a Gruhastha, there is a Gruhastha atmosphere. So it is the very system has a need, system has a goal, but not me. Means neither I feel bound by them. Even if I happen to die, even if I happen to leave the whole system, the system will take care of itself. I am not bound by it. So this kind of relieving of his personal goal and personal ambition is called sannyasa. That's why say you work for Ishvara, Ishvararpana buddhya. You surrender yourself to Ishvara. Ishvara has a plan. Ishvara means the Jagat Chakra. The world is running as a wheel, the wheel of the world. The wheel of the world is running. It follows certain pattern. It has certain goals, tentative goals, certain ambitions. So you're only assisting the wheel, but you don't have a goal of the wheel. Okay. This should be very clear in his mind. He shouldn't have such a person who doesn't share those ambitions and goals, but only assists others in their own ambitions and goals. It is like if a person is suffering from fever, then he is worried, he has to take medicine and he has to take all the course of the treatment. Whereas somebody is taking the medicine, somebody is not well, whatever the course, whatever the rules, discipline is prescribed by the doctor, the patient follows, you only assist by the side, standing by the side of a patient. You're only assisting, you don't share their problems. Not worried, not concerned, not disturbed by them. You just remain there to assist a person. Similarly, this kind of life, this kind of mind is called Sanyasa, Sankalpa Sanyasi. He doesn't have any personal ambitions and goals, nor he insists on a particular pattern of living. It is just left to the world, and world follows it. Since he happens to be a person of a good heart, he assists the people. That's a different thing. Assisting out of compassion, not out of attachment. See, this is a subtle and very important difference. If you are living in an ashram or in a family or in somewhere, in whichever setup you live, out of attachment for them, out of attachment for the system, if you do, then you are part of the system. But if you do it out of compassion, that means you are not part of it. You have just given up. You have transcended it. You have transcended the system. You are not part of it. You don't feel burdened by it. You only assist the system. It has got its own needs, its own desires, its own worries. Neither you share their ambitions nor you share their worries. Sharing means you don't own them up. By sharing, I mean in this sense. Neither you share means neither you own their ambitions nor own their worries. It is purely their own. You remain as a friendly, loving servant. That's all. My job is just to lovingly serve him, assist them in their ambitions, in their worries. It is their worries they will take care of. It is their ambition they will worry. We only just assist them. This, an impassionate, impartial, and undisturbed person is called sannyasa. This kind of a mind is called sannyasa. Therefore, sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvana sheshatah. When you are sitting in a meditation, sankalpa prabhavan kaman, all the desires born of sankalpa. Desires means desires. Sankalpa means it is sticking to your mind. You have an attachment for them. Your mind feels that I belong to them. That feeling of belongingness is called sankalpa. These ideas, these goals belong to me. These ambitions belong to me, and I am supposed to, I belong to the system. When you say you belong to the, therefore a person who lives in an ashram, or if he is a grihastha, lives in a family, he doesn't identify with them. That means he doesn't feel the abhimana with them. It is just like living like a guest in a family. You, as a guest, you live in a family, so you don't identify with that. You live like guest means as a loving guest, as a caring, as a loving, as an understanding guest, as a good-hearted guest. So the family suffers whatever good and bad. Okay, they have some good ideas, plans and goals and trying to do. Or if they have some worries, he doesn't identify with them. So when you don't identify with a goal, that is called sankalpa. I identify with a system, with a family, with an ashrama, with a setup. I live there as a guest. Do you see, it's a very interesting thing. If you go, that's why when you go as a guest, there are certain things we can learn as a guest. You go and stay with somebody for a few days, 2 or 3 days, 5 days or 1 week. You stay there as a guest. See what is your relation, what is your attitude with them. You may share as a loving friend, but not as a member of a family. Okay? As a good-hearted person, you assist them, but you don't worry, you don't share their worries. If they express their worries, you only sympathize with them, but you don't own the worries. You don't identify with their worries. Okay? If you identify with worries, then you become a member of a family. You become a member of a family, not a friend, not a guest. See the difference. You don't become a member of a family. That means you don't share their worries and tensions and their desires. If something happens, some good event happens, they celebrate something, it is their celebration. What do you feel? You just say, it is good. You only express good wishes to them, but it is there. If they have a worry, you say that, I'm sorry, you are worried, okay. You have a sympathy. but no identification. Sympathy is a neutral person's sympathy. You don't feel affected by it. If you identify, you are affected. Okay? If you are being detached, being not identifying with them, you express a sympathy just as a good human heart. Okay? Similarly, a person having a good sattvic heart is different. So as a good sattvic heart naturally feels, and out of that heart, you just love them, assist them, but no attachment. This is called Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. He gives up the desires born of Sankalpa. Sankalpa is an identification with those goals and plans. I think, I don't know, Sankalpa, there is a technical way of explaining what is Sankalpa. Okay? But I'm explaining the meaning of Sankalpa from a common man's standpoint. Sankalpa means that identification. And identification, when you identify with them, you start feeling those desires are your desires. See, those worries are their worries, have become your worries. So if you don't have that identification, even if the society, the nation you live in, the country, the society, the family, the ashram, the setup, the system, whichever system you live in, you share as a friend, a loving friend, a very compassionate friend, a kind-hearted friend, not identification. This is a difference. Identification makes you a member of it. But a loving, compassionate friend is a very detached one. Like a guest, he is a part of, he lives with them but not identifies with them. So this is sannyasa. Therefore, when you have a sannyasa, desires also go away. Therefore, people generally say, oh, give up your desire, give up your desire. People say, I want to give up, but I am unable to give up. What to do? People say, give up desire, give up desire, give up desire. How? How? We don't know. Give up how? How to give up? Becomes very difficult. So it says, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. The desires spring from Sankalpa. So you touch the root first. Break the root. You first destroy the root. When the root is destroyed, all its springing means all its later developments from the root, they just melt away. Therefore, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman. So you have to live as a detached person, not belonging to anything. Therefore, the real sannyasa is only a detachment. Detachment means not non-identification, neither emotionally nor ideologically. Two ways. Emotionally also, no identification. No, ideologically also. Even in an idea in a thinking wise, I believe, I am convinced. No conviction, no belief. See, the belief, conviction is intellectual. Emotional is feeling wise. At neither at the level of feelings, mind, nor at the level of intellect, he feels identified with something. When you are not identified, you see, you feel instantly unburdened. Your burden goes away. Do you see that? How interesting? When you are detached, no burden. You feel instantly free. You don't feel the burden of taking personal responsibility. The burden won't be there. You are just detached. Okay, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Tyaktva Sarvan, by giving up all the desires. Giving up all the desires means giving up all the attachment. Asheshataha, not even a little bit, not even an indirect attachment. Neither direct nor indirect. Completely rooted out. Sarvan Asheshataha. We give up completely because the attachment makes you insecure. You see, the most of the people feel insecure, psychological insecurity, psychological fear. The fear comes because of insecurity. In fact, fear is a symptom of insecurity, feeling of insecurity, a psychological sense of insecurity. That insecurity makes you dependent. Dependent means that is a desire. A person becomes totally free. The freedom when we talk of, the sannyasi is freedom, a karma yoga nishtha. A person who attains a perfection in karma yoga is automatically sannyasi. Sanyasa is a culmination of karma yoga. When you achieve karma yoga perfectly well, you get a perfection in karma yoga, you become detached. You become free from identifications. You become free from insecurity. Or in other words, the surrender to Ishvara is complete. Surrender means you don't feel the burden upon yourself. You feel that you don't have any burden. You belong to Ishvara. Ishvara will take over everything. And I am only assisting him, serving him as a servant of him. So this perfection in karma yoga is sannyasa. So the internally in the mind, this karma yoga perfection should come. Am I correct? Today Sunday. All the time on someday before or later I keep, today is Sunday, correct. Otherwise, someday, last week I did it one day before only, Saturday only I told, I mistook that was Sunday. Anyway, today is Sunday. So the identification, giving up identification is difficult. It requires an inner transformation, inner discovery of a new strength. You learn to your whole relationship changes. Your whole personality changes. Karma yoga is a change, transformation of your personality. Karma yoga is not an action. Remember, note this. Karma yoga is not doing an action in a particular way. It is neither a given action nor it is a particular way of doing. It is not a particular way of doing. It is a change of your personality. It is a change of your relations to the world, worldly objects, worldly actions, worldly people, all your relationships. Particularly in the relationship, your identification with them, that changes. That is karma yoga. Karma yoga is when you stand as an individual in a particular relation with the people, with the action. Because if you feel as an individual, assert your individuality. That means if you have got individual goals to achieve, individual desires to fulfill, then those individual goals and desires make you an insecure person. You will be an ordinary human being, running after something, worried about something, desiring something. When you get something, you feel elated. When you lose it, you are worried. So this elation and depression. The elation, that means harsha and vishada. Elation and sadness, both of them go away. You rejoice or become sad. This rejoicing and becoming sad, these two go away when it ceases to be your personal desires, personal ambitions. Okay, neither material ambition, nor social ambition, nor economic, nor even a moral ambitions. Okay, not even moral goals. Moral means social responsibility, moral, even they are given up to Ishvara. You are only simply living as a servant. Servant means you live day to day. From moment to moment you live. A person who has a desires will think of tomorrow. Okay? That means there is an identification. No identification. You are just neutral to the whole world. Different languages are there, people are there, their own setup, their families. You identify with neither an ashram, nor a family, nor a society, nor a nation, nor anybody. You are just a loving friend of everybody. But you happen to be, whichever situation, you will be a loving friend of them. That's all. Whichever situation, whichever country you are, You will be a good friend, loving friend, assisting them lovingly without any identification with them. You love them. You help them. You assist them because you have got hands and legs and brains. You help them, but not identification. You don't share. You don't share. You share neither their ambitions nor worries. This happens when you give up identification. But you have to learn to give up the identification gradually. Therefore, you belong to the whole universal God. God who is universe. Paramatma who is universal being. Paramatma is not an individual. Paramatma doesn't belong to a particular group. See, if you think God is a one nation, your idea of God will become limited to nation. You become a servant of a nation alone. You identify with a nation. Okay, identifying with a nation is better compared to identify with one family, one village, one town. Okay, nation being a broader one, it is better. Definitely better. But Karma Yogi doesn't identify with a nation. Patriotism is not Karma Yoga. Okay, some people present patriotism, work for nation, that is Karma Yoga. If you say nation, that also is again identification only. Karma Yoga, okay, we can appreciate that he is identifying with a larger system than in a too narrow system. Narrow system is family. Larger than family is your community. Larger than community is your town. Larger than your town is your state. Larger than the state is your nation. So that way a nation or your India as a country is definitely larger. You are a better person, more broader person, but still you identify. If you identify, no Karma Yoga, learn it. It is still an identification. You are a better person, but not Karma Yogi. Karma Yogi doesn't identify with any society, any group, any system. He belongs to the entire universe. Belong to the entire universe means in your mind you should be feel free from identification. Not that it is not a strategical, no, not strategy. It is not a policy. Policy is different from change in your heart, a transformation in your attitude. You learn a de-identification, not a policy. Should I explain policy and all that? I think I'll be unnecessarily going into details. People will be worried if I give worldly examples, actual examples, you'll be worried. People don't want to hear all those things. So I leave them. Some other time I'll tell. I have told a number of times before. So it is the main thing is de-identification. You see them all as the one universal beings, the whole cosmic Vishwarupa Paramatma. So Paramatma to whom you surrender to, that Paramatma is not a given individual. That's why if your concept of God is like another individual God or a group God, if your God is an individual God or group God, then that is not Ishvara, that is not your Karma Yoga. I tell you, some people's very concept of God is a group God. He belongs to one particular religion. He belongs to one nation. Then he is not a complete God. He is only one partial, another individual only. That's why you can see them, they hate other group and love one group and hate other group. Then you become divided. This divisiveness, so a person who identifies with one nation or with one group of society, one religious society, then you start hating the outsiders. But you are so staunchly attached to one group that you are ready to give up your life and ready to torture the outsiders also. Both are equally capable. Ready to give up your life to your own group of people, then ready to torture and exploit the people outside your group. Both you are equally capable, but this is again an attachment only. This is also fanaticism. A fanatic attachment in the name of God is not Karma Yoga, I tell you. Fanatic attachment is not Karma Yoga because your concept of God himself is limited. Your concept of God is limited. It belongs to a group. It is a narrow down, it is not universal. Therefore, note, if your God is one religious God, one religion means one God, exclusive God. He excludes other forms or other society, other this thing. If your God himself is a one person, either belonging to a group or an individual, your very concept is wrong. Then you will also be attached to one and opposing others. Then this is not karma yoga. Okay? Note this. People are trying to present patriotism is karma yoga. Working for your religion and then hating outside your religion is karma yoga. It is not. Because in this thing, see, I told you what is the karma yoga. Sankalpa tyaga. That is important. Sankalpa is identification. You give up your identification. So if you have a nation as your Ishvara, or if you are a religious society as an Ishvara, then global religious society, the religious society all over the world. Then if you say you belong to that society, then there is an identification has come. Once identification is there, it is like any other attachment. It may be a slightly better one, but it is not karma yoga. Okay? Some people are trying to present work for nation, like our soldiers who worked for freedom. See, those who worked during freedom struggle, they were inspired. Some of them were really, who had a background of Bhagavad Gita and Indian culture, they worked like karma yogis. They took freedom for India is one part of Ishvara's. So they surrendered to Ishvara and worked. They worked like karma yoga. But they were not attached to freedom or India. It is only a service to India, because if you identify, again you have got a worry and tension. What is that? Rejoicing and then sadness come. That becomes again that individuality remains. If individuality remains, individual attachment, that's because if there is an individual attachment, antakarana shuddhi doesn't come. That doesn't prepare you for Vedanta. See, it doesn't prepare you for Vedanta. Antakarana shuddhi doesn't come. Okay? You see them? They are not prepared for Vedanta. No personal goals and ambition. That means you are individual. So you totally become an instrument in the hands of Vishwarupa Ishvara, who is not an individual, who doesn't belong to a group. He belongs to all. He is all pervasive. He is the entire Vishwarupa, entire human society. Not only human society. He pervades the entire human society, animal kingdom, and also Pitrus, Rishi, and Devata, up to Brahmaloka. Even the Brahmaloka also belongs to Ishvara. It is complete Ishvara. He is a non-individual. Okay? To such an non-individual Ishvara, when you surrender, you also get de-identified. Okay? Therefore, then those desires go away. It is easy to drop the desires when the identification goes away. So when you are suggested to give up desires, it implies that give up the identification. It is implied. Otherwise, giving up the desires is not possible. Sankalpa. It is the Sankalpa is the root cause of desires. You identify with something. It is mine. I belong to it. Then you are bound by the desire for it. Okay? Either a positive desire or a negative desire. Positive desire is to acquire it. Negative desire is to avoid it. To avoid something also, hatred is also another side of the same coin. See, hatred is also, therefore an Ishvara Bhakta, a Karma Yogi cannot hate also. Remember. Because Karma Yogi doesn't have a hatred, doesn't have enemies. Tentatively, you may behave in such a way in order to protect yourself from others' evil. You may protect yourself from others' evil. But you don't treat them as an enemy. See, if a person is a nuisance, continuously problematic person, you feel disgusted with him. You want to protect yourself from him, therefore you just avoid and go. But there is no hatred. You don't treat him as an enemy, hostile with him. You are not hostile against him, nor treat him as a hate-worthy, that I need to hate him. So you don't nurse hatred for him. But you understand he is a nuisance, he is a problematic fellow, therefore you just quietly avoid. By remaining relaxed in the mind without carrying any, nursing any hatred for him. Okay. We don't wish ill of him. Nursing hatred means you don't wish ill of him, that let him die, let him be destroyed and all that. And you don't feel happy that when he dies. When he died, wow, how happy I am that let him die. So you don't enjoy his death. Because if you are enjoying the death, that means you have hated him. You have nursed hatred for him. Okay. So this hatred is also another form of desire only. A negative desire, a positive desire. Positive desire is a desire, negative desire is hatred. Therefore, whatever they are, they just live. Whatever we can see that so then how to relate to that person, a very hate-worthy person. I don't know how to express in English. Hateful, can we say hateful person or hate-worthy person? I don't know. Hated person. This English is difficult. Anyway, it's a foreign language. We leave them. So, a person who is a hate-worthy person, how do you relate to him? You sympathize, because by behaving in such a wickedest way, he is harming himself first. Because he lost the opportunity to be a good human being, a sattvic human being, a dharmic human being. He is losing the opportunity to become a good dharmic human being. He is unnecessarily nursing hatred. He is unnecessarily developing a fanaticism and becoming a bigot, religious bigot, national bigot. All kinds of bigots we have these days. Ideological bigot, national bigot, or religious bigot. Okay, so we only pity him. We only pity him that he is becoming a bigot. Second thing is, because of his fanaticism, wickedness, he is hurting others. He is harming the society. He is hurting or harming the society. So the society in which he lives is undermining the strength of the society. He is creating more problems to the society. You have a sympathy for the society. You pity the person and have a sympathy for the society. Whatever best you can do, you assist them, help them out of simple love and compassion. But not that you don't feel responsible that they must be made free from the problem, and otherwise, so you have no responsibility. You don't feel bound by doing it. You don't feel a bounden duty. Bounden means a pressure on you. Feeling the bounden duty means I feel a pressure. Pressure implies identification, not it. You feel identified with them. So you don't feel identification. That means you don't feel the pressure, but still you feel compassionately, lovingly. You have a sympathy for them. With all sympathy, try to help them, assist them whatever way you can best. So compassion, kindness is non-pressurizing. Identification pressurizes. Attachment pressurizes. Compassion, sympathy, kindness doesn't pressurize. It is a sattvic feeling. You don't feel the pressure in it. Okay, a detached love, a detached care and understanding and helping, assisting, but without feeling identification, attachment. Therefore, this nation or a religious society, even these are not karma yogas. Vivekananda analyzes certain points beautiful. But the problem with Vivekananda is he talks of many things from many levels, many ideas, like a dictionary, all he puts in one. People should know how to take, in what context, what he means, in what context he says. People should understand them properly. Otherwise, different levels he talks, different context he talks, people get mixed up. One guru's help is, guru means a person who is mature enough, is required help of a mature person to help you to, what you call that, classify which idea is talked from which level, which idea is spoken from which level. People should be able to classify well, otherwise get confused or misunderstand them. But Vivekananda analyzes. He says, working for a nation, though he talks of national bhakti, patriotism, yet he talks of identification with a nation, identification with a religious society. That religious fanatics missionary work is not karma yoga. He openly said. Vivekananda told, this missionary work, this bigotry is not karma yoga at all. In fact, it neither gives you punya nor gives you antakarana shuddhi. He condemned it. I read all his books. I read. So he says he knows what is real karma yoga. It is total surrender to Ishvara. Ishvara himself is not an individual, nor he belongs to one group, whole Vishwarupa. Therefore, Sankalpa Prabhavan Kaman Styaktva Sarvana Seshataha. So all the desires should go away. When you sit in a place, you should feel relaxed. So you have no program for tomorrow. The program means your mind is holding. It is holding your mind. Your mind sticks to one point. Tomorrow, your mind is empty. Regarding tomorrow, supposing you have a holiday tomorrow, your mind feels relaxed because there is no problem for tomorrow. Then again, day after tomorrow, mind is empty. Again, after 2 days, empty. After 4 days, empty. After 1 week, empty. After for 1 month, it's all blank. Empty means blank. Let us say blank instead of empty. Empty is a little negative word. Blank means nothing sticking to you. Nothing is challenging you. Nothing is becoming a cause of pressure in you. Tension in you. Whole next 1 month is all relaxed. Then again 2 months relaxed. Then 6 months relaxed. Then whole 1 year, next 1 year is relaxed because you have no plan, no program, nothing to achieve. What happens, you have nothing to worry about. Whole next 1 year is free. Not only 1 year, next whole life you are free. You have no plans, no program, nothing. See what you do today, you take your food, you get up, take your bath and then wash your clothes and take your food and then do certain things. These are all routine things. You don't think it as a plan. Is it a plan that, oh, tomorrow do you think that tomorrow I'll wake up, I'll take bath and I'll wear clothes and then put tilaka, I'll do sanyavandanam and I'll eat food. Do you think it is a goal? It is a daily routine, it is not a goal. When you think of a daily routine, you don't think of it as a goal. That means it doesn't occupy your mind. It doesn't occupy your mind. Your mind is not stuck to it. You feel that's a routine, you need not think. When the time comes, you do it, that's all. So that way, your whole tomorrow means entire life is free from any encumbrances, any worries, any tension. That is sannyasa. A grihastha means, okay, in those days we would present grihastha is like this, sannyasi is like. Nowadays all ashramas, all ashrama life, varna life, all thing is astavesta. That means all mixed up. That's why we can't categorize anything. We only have to define the inner psychological state alone. External life, inner psychological state, they are not rhyming these days. They are not going together. Because the inner life and the external life are not going together. When the society was living together like this, your inner mind and external ashrama or varna was together, then it would be easy to explain. Now we have created lot of problems, astavesta, avyavastita, Kali Yuga, this is what we call. That's why a grihastha means who has got an attachment in those days. When he is detached, he would be automatically sannyasi. So that way it would be easy to categorize people and easy to prescribe them duties and responsibilities. Because your inner mind, state of mind and external life also were going together. Nowadays it's not possible because we don't know who is who. Because mind is at one state and external life is another. All sannyasis are not attached. All grihasthas are not attached. You don't know who is who. All that people are of minds are of different level, worldly responsibilities of different. There is no coordination at all. There is no correspondence between them. This is what we call avyavastha, disorganized. Society is getting disorganized. Then if it is disorganized also we can explain Vedanta, but it becomes more complicated as I am doing now. How much I am explaining, it looks at why do we need so much? Because in those days it was easy. This is grihastha duty, this is sannyasi duty, is easy to explain. Now you can't explain easily because his inner state of mind is one and external is another. Then we have to keep on explaining. Oh, this is what I have been doing now. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman. Therefore, inner mind has to be free from the... so tomorrow you have no plans and programs which are sticking to your mind, which are occupying your mind. Then the mind is just blank and free and relaxed. That is sannyasa. If something is sitting in your mind as a program, as a policy, as an important thing, then you are a grihastha. It is not sannyasa. Okay. So Sankalpa Prabhavan, a person who gives up all his desires, born of identification. Then after becoming a sannyasi, a real sannyasi in your mind, still you may do if you are in an ashram or if you are a grihastha somewhere, but they are not your personal goals and personal ambitions. Okay. Others, you are only assisting them. Therefore, still your mind is free only throughout your life. You don't own up those responsibilities. Oh, I have this responsibility. You just don't own up. You do not have any. Okay. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman styaktva sarvan asheshatah. Giving up all these asheshatah completely. Manasai. Then what happens? External, your relationship with the world is totally gone. Entire world doesn't exist for you. World exists only through your relations, your attachment only. World is a world for you only through your identification. If you don't identify, what does the world mean to you? Does it mean anything to you? Just to see. You don't, supposing there is one country in the world, there are some society in the world, you just don't know them, you don't identify with them, either in a positive way or a negative way. They don't mean anything, whether they exist or not, doesn't make any difference to you. Similarly, when you don't identify with the world, it doesn't make any difference whether they exist or not, because in your heart, mind is totally free. So first is detachment. Identification is gone. All the desires are gone. Mind is just relaxed. It doesn't have anything that is pressurizing you. Manasayvendriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Next, once the desire is gone, identification. Second thing is, generally you might be thinking at least what is happening around, just thoughts. Even the thoughts you give up. First, identification. Second is, you are not thinking of anything. Just your mind comes back to yourself. So you don't know what is the world, whether the world is there or not. All that just given up. Manasaiva indriya gramam. Then all the sense organs are withdrawn. Sense organs also don't feel restless to touch something, eat something, to know something. There is no desire to know anything. Let anything happen. If somebody comes, okay. If somebody goes, okay. Who has come? There is no curiosity. There is no curiosity to see. There is no curiosity to know. There is no curiosity to know, to see, to touch, and what is happened? Something happens in the world, let it. So mind doesn't have any interest. Sense organs are not peeping, not lurking out, not trying to come out to see something, to touch something, know something. Sense organs come and relax, rest in their own places. Manasai vendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah. From all the external world, withdraw the sense organs, and they just stay with themselves. Staying with themselves means what? You are just aware of. There is a simple awareness, like wakeful awareness. Wakefulness. You are awake. You are conscious without any particular thought of particular object, particular person. And what happens tomorrow and what happened yesterday? Something happens anyway. Something happens, everything do we need to know? Something happens, some or other thing keep happening. Because world is world. Something happens. Something always unusual happens. Do we need to know all that unusual things? There is no need to be curious. Curiosity is unnecessary. Curiosity is also a kind of subtle attachment. Okay, even that is not required. Therefore, manasaivendriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. From all sides, you withdraw your sense organs and just leave them to live. That means sense organs don't feel restless, don't feel curious. You don't feel curious to know what is happening around. Sometimes restless. You want to taste something. You want to see something. You want to hear something. It may be very interesting. It may be very lovable. It may be very, very beautiful. But still you don't need to see. Don't feel restless to see. It may be okay. You don't feel curious. Don't feel restless to see it. There are many things in the world. Do we need to see everything? So many things are there. Even if it is there, let it be. I'm not interested. How relieved and relaxed your sense organs are. Then with that mind, this is the first shloka, 24th. 25th shloka says, Shanai Shanai Ruparamet Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya. Then gradually, Shanai, gradually Uparamet, gradually withdraw. Buddhya, with your intellect. What is that intellect? Dhriti grihitaya. Uparatim kuryat buddhi dhriti grihitaya. Here it is again interesting. A buddhi, intellect, which is accompanied by, or which contains, which possesses a dhruti. Dhruti means dhairya. A dhairya again is if you see, I think it will come sometime in 17th or 18th chapter. I think maybe 18th chapter, I think. Dhruti means the courage. Dhruti means courage. A will of the mind, a courage of the mind. But the courage is also of three levels. Tamasa courage, Rajasa courage, Sattvika courage. Physical courage. One is a physical courage. Physical courage means you daredevils, people say. Physically, he is ready to face any pain. Cold water he is ready to touch. Hot water ready to touch. Ready to bear the physical pain. So that is called physical courage. Then the emotional courage, ready to be detached. My nearest, dearest person also dies or suffers, I just don't care. I don't lose my heart, I'll still continue to do my work. Then moral courage, all these things are different courages. So here, Tamasa courage is stubbornness. Rajasa courage is convenient to, according to your desire, you get a courage. You want something, therefore you get a courage. Tamasa courage is in stubbornness. Foolish stubbornness is called Tamasa courage. A courage born of laziness, a courage born of stubbornness, that courage is different. Rajasa courage is out of a desire, out of an ambition. But Sattvika courage is a silent courage. You don't get disturbed, but don't give up. A silent pursuing. Silently, consistently you are pursuing it because you love to do it. It's a natural courage. Silent courage, a natural courage, you continuously persist in that alone. You just stay there. Let anything happen. It is not a forced one, but it is a natural, silent courage. This is a sattvika courage. In order to have sense control, mind control, you need a sattvika courage. Sattvika courage comes out of maturity, out of surrender, out of bhakti, out of jnanam, out of viveka. Jnanam means viveka. Out of viveka, that courage comes. You are convinced, you remain relaxed. That means it is not a willpower. It is not an aroused feeling. This courage comes not out of an aroused feeling. It is not an aroused feeling. It is a silent courage. Because vairagyam brahmacharya requires a silent courage, not something aroused, an ambition like. That aroused one is a tentative, worked up feeling. Aroused feeling is a tentative, afterwards it falls. But a brahmacharya, indriya nigraha, detachment comes from a silent courage, a consistent, continuously you are in that. Continuously you are in that. Because you just love to be in there, that's all. No, you don't have to arouse him. You don't have to, just you love to be there and remain there, that's all. You love to be relaxed, you love to be detached, you don't want to enjoy things, you don't want to get attached to things, that's all. You just leave them and don't think of them. Because I'm not interested. Remain with where I am. Therefore, dhruti means a silent dhruti. Dhruti means one more thing. Even if your mind is slipping, you don't lose patience. Here, dhruti requires a lot of patience. Patiently you remain sakshi. Remain. Just remain. Even if your mind is slipping down, doesn't matter. Again you take back the mind and again allow it to rest. Don't worry, don't get disturbed, but be relaxed. Patience require a lot of patience. Patience is so much that until you achieve the thing, let any number of times, thousands of times, you fail, but still don't lose patience. Infinite optimism. Okay? Infinite optimism. Endless optimism. Just patiently keep on doing. So therefore, buddhya dhriti grihitaya, mind is concentrated. Your mind is concentrated, watchful. Remain watchful. Just the very nature of being watchful, you are awareful. The Vedantic ideas taught that your world is in your consciousness. Sense organs are within your consciousness. Your eyes are within your consciousness. Just to try to watch. If it slips down, again watch. Watching is the only thing. Slip down, don't worry. Again watch. So a dhruti, this is the dhairyam. Dhairyam means a continuous patience, consistency. Consistent patience. It is not a forced, aroused courage. Buddhya, because it is meditation. A courage in a meditation is of different kind. Okay? That is a sattvik courage. It comes in Bhagavad Gita itself is its own commentary. Only thing is we need a cross reference. I think somebody should have published a Bhagavad Gita. I think somebody, I myself should do. I have not come across. We should make a lot of cross references. Entire Bhagavad Gita is a cross reference. Each shloka has got more than one references. 4 or 5 places in another place of the same Bhagavad Gita. It explains itself. Dhairya, what is dhairya? It explains there. And here he talks of that dhairya, useful in dhyana, nididhyasana. So, if you study here and then dhairya explained there in 18th chapter. 18th is not yet come. So, people don't know how to relate to them. You see the cross reference you make it, it's very beautiful. Bhagavad Gita is a good commentary. Bhagwan Krishna himself is his own commentator of his own words. So that you see that Sattvika Dhairya is a very, in a Karma Yoga, everything you surrender to Ishvara. In surrendering, what a patience you require, what a courage you require, let anything happen. Bhagwan will look after me. So here, a trust in Ishvara, a Shraddha, born of Shraddha is a positive quality. So this courage is born of Shraddha in Ishvara. So mind just holds there and remains silently, remains there alone. Therefore, Shanai Shanai Ruparamet Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya, with a buddhi possessed of Dhriti Dhairyam. With a buddhi which is possessed of Dhairyam means which has courage. Courage means generally you think using willpower is courage. Courage means generally we say we hold the fist. Holding the fist is of a different courage. You don't hold the fist, okay? You just leave the fist. It is of a different courage. This is a courage, it's a silent courage. You don't use the will, you just remain patient. Patiently. That is the courage. Okay? So, you don't get provoked. Lot of patience. You don't get provoked. Let anything happen. Endless patience. Relaxed patience. Relaxed courage. So, buddhya dhriti grihitaya, with such a courage, having such a courage in the mind, that mind is Shanai Shanai Ruparamaret, gradually, slowly. Slowly means what? Here Bhashakara says, Shanai Shanai means na sahasa. Don't force the mind to withdraw into your Chaitanyam. The antakarana has to be gradually withdrawn into consciousness. Don't force it. Why? If you force means you are using will. Abba. I think, do I need to explain all these things? Those who do Nididhyasana, I understand this thing. So, if you force, what happens? If you do Shanai Shanai, what happens? See the difference between them. In the Nididhyasana, there is a thought. Okay? There is an identification. If you force, what happens? You are only absorbing the thought. You are not falsifying the thought. Absorption means mind disappears tentatively like in sleep. In sleep, mind goes away. When you don't think, we call it nirvikalpa. In nirvikalpa mind, when mind becomes thoughtless, forcibly you make the mind thoughtless. What happens? Thought doesn't arise. You hold it. You hold it stubbornly. Feel that thought doesn't arise. Okay, it doesn't arise. You can hold it. Blank. Hold on to the blank. Blank, no thought at all. Just like in Sushupti. Hold with the blank. You can hold it, but again thought comes. So mind is becoming avyakta. Thought is becoming, if you force, thought becomes avyakta, but thought doesn't melt away. Thought only tentatively gets suppressed. Tentatively merges. Tentatively, I don't know how to use in English words. It is a laya, but badha. Laya is, so in English they don't have these concepts at all. So we have to use Sanskrit words alone. Laya is only absorption. Thought gets absorbed, but doesn't get sublimated, doesn't get falsified. In vichara, therefore Nididhyasana is a continuation of Atma Vichara. It is not a continuation of Upasana. In Upasana, you are cultivating exclusively one thought. You are cultivating one thought to the exclusion of other. Two things are there. You exclude other thoughts. Okay? You exclude other thought and cultivate one thought. Cultivation is two ways. One is a bhakti way, another is a yogic way. Cultivation of a thought by excluding all other thoughts. One thought alone you cultivate. It is not Nididhyasana, I am telling you. Nididhyasana is totally different. This is yogic way and bhakta way. In bhakta's way, you cultivate a thought, that means you expand a thought, deepen a thought. Deepen a thought, expand a thought, purify a thought. So that one thought is an expansive thought, it swallows all other thoughts. Okay, this is a bhakti way of thought. You reach a savikalpa samadhi in the bhakti way. One Ishvara thought you have, one Ishtadevata thought you have, all other thoughts keep merging into this one thought. This is a holy thought, pure thought, all-pervasive thought, all-absorbing thought. It absorbs all other thoughts. Okay, so this is bhakti way of merging all thoughts into one thought, unifying into one thought. One broad thought, a pure broad thought. In yogic ways, shrinking. You avoid all thoughts. You avoid all thoughts, keep on shrinking, shrinking, shrinking. You make a very subtle thought, very thin layer of a thought. All other thoughts get dissolved into that one thin layer. This is of a shrinking. Bhakti is of expanding. Yogic is also shrinking. In संस्कृत जैसे वृत्ति को संकोच करते हैं इन योगिक ध्यान में, और भक्ति में वृत्ति को व्यापक करते हैं. So there you expand the thought in bhakti. Here you shrink the thought. Shrinking. Make it further thinner, thinner, thinner. Then a time comes so thin that it becomes transparent like a mirror. That's all. That is the yogic way of. But in these things, you are only shrinking the thoughts, shrinking the thought, and all other thoughts just disappear. But again, after you come from the Nirvikalpa Samadhi, again thoughts come. Whether in bhakti or in yoga. It is cultivating one thought to the exclusion of all others. But Vedanta, in Nididhyasana, you are neither cultivating a thought nor excluding any thought. Remember, neither cultivating one nor excluding one. All thought, the entire mind itself is understood. It is through understanding. It is a vichara. It is not working on the thought. It is not a cultivating a thought. It is discovering. It is trying to understand. Therefore, Nididhyasana is a continuation of vichara. Those who have, I am telling you, I am sorry to say, I have to say, those who have heard Vedanta, listen to this Nididhyasana. And I don't entertain any question. Generally, I don't answer. But I am telling once again, I won't answer. Unless you listen to Vedanta, I won't answer questions on Nididhyasana. Because Nididhyasana is a continuation of Vedanta. If you have not done Shravana Manana and keep on putting questions, it is all waste, it is irritating. Irritating in the sense a waste of time. You won't understand whatever I say. Therefore, I won't answer at all. Because the mind cannot understand unless you do vichara. You won't understand what is Nididhyasana. People just listen in between, suddenly come and start putting questions. This is called avyavasthita, I already told. There is no systematic study of Vedanta. Anybody reads any book anywhere and listen to something and in between gate crash. If some Vedantic talks are going and gate crash and start putting question, what is that, what is this thing, what is this thing, how can I be Brahma and all that. This is ridiculous. I am talking to my regular students, those who have been attending, and I am addressing them. I only keep those people in view and not others. Others in between come and put questions, I won't entertain because they won't understand. They get confused and they keep on putting the same questions again and again and again. The more I talk, more it is wasting time. So let them come through properly, systematically, let them listen to Vedanta, then it is understandable. I have told before, even now I tell. My classes are not public classes. Okay, these online talks. This is, in fact, during Corona period I started. Those who have been attending our ashram talks, to those students we are talking. This is a class of our own people. Those who have heard Vedanta, to such people. So other people may listen, just remain silently and go away. Then first thing is you make a guru. First you go to your guru and learn Vedanta systematically. And he teaches you Vairagyam, Antarmukata, Tattva, Vichara, all that. What is a Prakriya, Vichara? First you understand the Upasana, Vichara. Okay. Then the guru will tell you everything. And if you still want to listen to me, then you take your Guruji's permission and listen to my talks. It is not just a Vedanta, is not a public talk like a politician's talk. Politicians talk, in fact, they want more people to come and listen, because there is nothing to understand. He has got certain views and he is trying to tell you. So there is no thinking. You don't need any extra preparation. You don't need any preparation in your personality, in your life, to be able to understand a politician's talk. But here you require a whole transformation of your personality. Unless your whole personality is transformed into Vairagyam, Karma Yoga, self-control, then Mumukshutvam, and inner depth, inner Antarmukata, then you won't understand what is Vichara. Then unless you start Vichara, you won't understand what is Nididhyasana. So suddenly come, because it is open to all, because now we can't close the cell phone. It is there, so you can't close the cell phone. How can you do that? Because we have got our people, our students, Bangalore and here, and our Karyalaya, Sachidananda Swamiji followers all over there. So they can listen, therefore for sake of them we left it open and we have not blocked it. So that doesn't mean anybody comes and get crash and then put question, what is this, what is that? Or now should I start ABCD from here, right from for each person like that? And it becomes difficult. You have to learn from years together. Okay? Therefore, Nididhyasana here, Shanai Paramet. So Bhashyakara says, Na sahasa, not suddenly. In sudden doing, you are applying a force. You are applying your will. Okay? It is not by applying the will you do Nididhyasana. Note it. You are not applying the will. In Upasana, you apply the will. In Nididhyasana, you don't apply the will, because will drops off. Will gets dissolved. Will is not applied here. It is only a discovery. You just patiently watch, pay attention. It is a discovery. It is an understanding. It is not an operation of a will. Okay? Therefore, Shanaihi, if you force it, you are applying your will. If you are apply your will, the thought doesn't melt. Thought doesn't dissolve. Thought only tentatively remains, merges. Tentatively merges in order to reappear. Once the pressure is stopped, after a while mind comes back. Okay, it becomes avyakta, like in sleep, like in samadhi. Either sleep or samadhi, the thought remains merged and again resurfaces. Again, but here we are discovering, understanding the ornament is nothing but gold. Ornament, there is no such thing called ornament. Ornament is only a wrong name, a tentative name given to gold itself. Similarly, every thought is nothing but consciousness. Wave is nothing but water. The water itself called as a wave in a particular perspective. Therefore, anything is only a perspective, but the thing in itself is nothing but water. There is no wave. There is no such thing called wave as an entity apart from water. Similarly, thought, the entire world is a thought, including my subject and object, the knower and the known. The whole thought is inseparable from consciousness. Therefore, Shanai, gradually see the whole world is nothing but a avastha, wakeful state. The wakeful state is nothing but consciousness. So gradually, or other way is, take the objects are inseparable from sense organs. See, what is object? Object is nothing but perception. Perception through senses, perception through touch, perception through hearing are basically two things alone: sound and touch. Form and touch. You see the form through your eyes and you touch with your hand. You feel something solid. But what is solid is nothing but your feeling of touch only. Form and touch. Other than form and touch, there is no world. Then what is form and touch? Feel it. The touching is only a consciousness. Means your mind in a particular mode is called a touch. What is a form? Your mind in a particular mode is called a form. Therefore, it is mind alone assuming a form of touch, assuming a form. Okay? Therefore, the sense perception is inseparable from mind. First, objects are inseparable from perception. Sense perception. Sense perception is inseparable from mind. Mind is inseparable from the knower, the very knowing principle. The knowing principle knower. The knowerhood is inseparable from the very Sakshi consciousness. So like this, gradually merge it. Merging is by watchfulness, by awareness alone. Shanai Shanai Ruparamet. Gradually withdraw. Withdraw means understand that they are already part of it. It is not withdrawing by your will. That's why na sahasa, Bhashakara told one word alone. Shanai Shanai is Sri Krishna statement. Na sahasa is Shankaracharya statement. Sahasa, not forcibly. You are not using the will. Shanai means you are allowing it to merge. You are not using the will. In your understanding, discovering, seeing that thought is inseparable from consciousness. Thought is already another name for consciousness. There is no such thing called thought. Okay? This you are not imagining. You are not forcing. You are not using the will here. You are allowing the discovery to take place. You are only facilitating the mind to discover it, for the discovery to take place. Therefore, Shanai Shanai Uparamet Buddhya Dhriti Grihitaya requires a patience. Patience means don't force. Just remain watchful, awareful. The awareness keeps swallowing all other objects. It swallows the world. Consciousness swallows the body. Consciousness swallows the sense organs. Consciousness swallows the mind. Consciousness swallows the intellect. Then the individuality, individual knowership, even that swallows. There is just consciousness. Consciousness alone is there. So, Atma Samstam Manakratva. Placing yourself, resting in the consciousness. Nakinchidapi chintayet. See, understand that there are no thoughts outside consciousness. Nakinchidapi chintayet, it verbatim if you take it. Literally you take it, he is asking you not to think. It is not thinking. Not to think, it's not an advice. It is only a discovery. Understand that all thoughts are inseparable from the very consciousness. There is no thought outside the consciousness. Nakinchidapi chintayet means understand no thought. Swamiji says the same thing in his footnotes. Understand that there is no thought apart from consciousness. It is another name for the same infinite consciousness. Time is nothing but consciousness. Space is nothing but consciousness. World is nothing but consciousness. The individuality is nothing but consciousness. So, all thoughts, all time, place, everything is just consciousness. It is there on its own. There is no effort. Nobody is merging, nobody is doing anything. The will also is a part of consciousness. So it alone remains. Atma samstham manah kritva nakinchidapi chintayet. Okay. Nididhyasana is just discovering, seeing that there is only consciousness, and again coming back to wave doesn't exist. If you do nirvikalpa or in sleep, the thought merges and resurfaces. Here it is not merging, therefore no question of resurfacing. The thought has neither existed before, nor now, nor ever in future. There was no thought apart from consciousness. Neither was, nor is, nor will ever be. It is a universal truth that consciousness alone is. This discovery, this understanding is nididhyasana. Okay? Atma samstam manah kritva nakinchidapi chintayet. Okay? Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamastiram tatastato niyamyaitadatmanyeva vashannayet. Next shloka we will see in the next class. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namah. Hari Om Tat Sat.